Things are not looking good in Netherlands. They're getting ugly in South Africa. Philippines are checking in. UK is checking in. China checking in. These are subscriber reports coming from you guys, reports from you guys from around the world. We have a major report coming in from a fisherman in Canada, Nova Scotia, reporting that over 50% reduction in fishing in large swaths of the Canadian oceans due to government regulations. Tens of millions of tons less fish are going to the shelves in the next week. Tens of millions of tons of less fish. We're going to get into that. Other reports from you guys, and of course, there is the self-sufficiency tip of the day at the end. Stick around for that. First off, let's start off where we usually do, which is updates on the bird flu in the United States, because I can get statistics on that in real time. Remember, we started off with 518 million USA chickens at the beginning of this. Almost 38 million are dead now in the last 3 months. May 9th, 50 more birds in Idaho in a backyard flock were culled. May 10th, 3 more backyard flocks were culled. A commercial turkey meat birds facility in Michigan was culled. 35,000 turkeys dead. In Pennsylvania, there was a major duck breeder, 24,000 breeding ducks. They also apparently had attached or a separate facility, duck meat birds, 37,000 ducks were put down. And also in Pennsylvania, a commercial egg layer facility put down 72,000 chickens, egg-laying chickens. A lot of birds being put to death, hopefully for good reason, but of course you guys all have opinions about that, and you know where I am slightly suspicious about that myself. All right, Food Production Watch. This is our letter from our fishermen up in Nova Scotia. Greetings, Professor Poplar. I don't know who you're talking to. That's not me. But greetings, Professor Poplar from Nova Scotia. I'm a commercial fisherman from a place I won't reveal because they asked me not to. Approximately 6 weeks ago, I posted a reply about DFO, Deep Fisheries / Oceans in Canada, about closing the 4 herring fishery zones and reducing the 5th zone quota by 50% on the West Coast. A couple weeks later, DFO shut down the entire herring fishery in the Gulf of St. Lawrence and the entire mackerel fishery in all of Atlantic Canada. Us here in southwest Nova Scotia have been waiting for a decision on our fishery here and in the Bay of Fundy. Last week, DFO announced that our area will have a 62.7% reduction in quota. Wonder where they got the 0.7 from. Bureaucrats. There's some stupid reason, I'm sure. How does this affect both of us? Me directly, no job. No income or very little. Not even financially feasible to go, especially with fuel prices skyrocketing. How does it affect you and your subscribers? There is 3 aspects to the herring market depending on quality. Roe fishery. Roe is sold to Japan as a delicacy. 2, fillets go to the smoked canned kipper. And 3, the offal and poor quality goes to the cat food market. Maybe even some of that gets pressed into cans, usually. You following, people? All related. The offal and poor quality goes to the cat food market and or into fish meal. Yep, you guessed it, fertilizer. It's all interconnected, folks. Never heard anything about a fertilizer shortly lately, have you? Well, it just got worse. We're talking about tens of millions of pounds. This news was reported on CBC Radio. This is going to create a seriously huge reduction in locally sourced herring especially canned kipper market. So stock up on those little cans of sardines for your bug out bag while you can, as they are about to get scarce if they're coming from Canada. At the risk of sounding like a far right-wing conspiracy theorist, I'd say that this is a controlled demolition of the fishery. It's not the fish that's on the endangered species list, it's us fishermen. Name withheld by request. Folks, somebody who didn't get the message from the trucker rally in the capital of Canada decided to make a decision. A series of decisions where they are just going to not allow 50% of the fishing in the oceans off the Canada coast. Just made the decision. Were there hearings? Did they call the truckers back to see if they had an opinion? Did they ask the fishers if they had an opinion? Did they ask all the boat captains if they had an opinion? Nope. Some bureaucrat somewhere just made a decision to slash fish production in Canada by tens of millions of tons of fish. I'm sure there'll be no consequences whatsoever. Cats everywhere are ticked, and they should be. Farmers who want fertilizer for their fields should be ticked. Stephanie, Texas bee supply just now, and this is from 2 days ago, this is where we buy our bees and our honey. They supply major stores and also farmers market folks and sell out of their store there in Blue Ridge. Their front store did not catch fire yet. They're working to prevent that. The back building is the one that is burning from their Facebook page. The fire is out. The warehouse was a total loss. But we are incredibly thankful for the amazing firefighters and first responders who worked 8+ hours to prevent it from spreading to other buildings. And in another note, if you heard about the shooting last night, the tragic, awful shooting in Buffalo, New York, it was at a grocery store. All right, reports coming from you guys, folks. We got a lot here, so buckle your seatbelts. We got a whole bunch of countries reporting in. Throwback 336, fishing in Maine, speaking about the waterways, that the Maine Environmental Protection Agency basically said that people cannot fish and eat the fish out of the lakes. This is an update on that. Fishing in Maine, it's due to the PFAS, which is the chemicals that was in the biosludge, which they used for organic farming, which is basically human waste, because that's organic. So they were spreading that on the fields. Turns out there's chemicals in there. Huh, who would have thought? This forever chemical contaminated in the water and the soil that the good old state said was safe to use in fertilizer decades ago. Guess they were wrong. Yes, and many, many thousands and thousands and thousands of acres of organic farms have been closed because they used the biosludge, and then the government played a switcheroo and came and shut down all those organic farms, which is why organic produce is getting hard to find. Of course, you have to realize that that means that the organic produce you were buying was being raised on human poop. Awesome. And chemicals that never leave your system. Anyway, Lisa says Walmart antibiotics went up cost within a week. Purchased last week for $4. Yesterday was $34 for the exact same thing in Fort Worth, Texas. Yes, drugs are all made in one place, and that is Dragon Country over there. Yep. Anyway, Pixel Oki said, chicken is very low to none at all here in Moore, Oklahoma. Eggs have almost tripled in price, cereal and bananas have doubled in price, and butter has gone up a few dollars. Black beans have come back in stock, but lentils are still gone, and chips come and go off the shelves like crazy. MRO 2352 says, I'm in central Ohio. Baby formula is almost impossible to find. Corn and soybeans went in late Speaking of farming, right? Went in late, but wheat was sprouting fine. Ohio usually doesn't have issues, but out west we're having more issues there. But hearing that corn and soybeans are in late, even Ohio. Mickey Pigknuckles says Indianapolis, Costco, lots of meat. Though mostly cheap cuts. Hard to find a decent fillet. Found with no problem at our favorite butcher, however. The ground turkey we normally get wasn't available. Ended up getting a less lean 93% package and paid the same price as the regular 99% package. Kroger, lots of veggies, fruits, dairy, eggs hit hard, but they are there. Didn't go into the middle aisles for the garbage food. That might be a term that catches on, isn't it? Garbage food. Fish market, lots of the usual options, though the scallops looked poor and they only had blue and king crab, no dungies. Garden center, packed but well-staffed and stocked. Packed with people, right? Holly, heads up. I went to go help the seniors do over-the-counter supply orders, and they cannot order Tylenol or the generic Tylenols. Sarah S. Australia in the last 24 hours, news is saying food is going up by another 12%. Jessica B., south of Louisville, Kentucky. Most empty sections are in the freezer. Plenty of formula here. Prices are high, but stock is decent on essentials. Grapes are pushing $6. Meat is significantly cheaper at small local mom and pop grocery stores. Might want to check into that, folks, if you're looking for meat. Parrot Africa in South Africa is definitely shelves are showing the sign in the stores. Lack of stock. Farmers are destroying crops because the supply chain is messed up. That is not good news coming out of South Africa. Farmers destroying crops because of the supply chain. Cecil F. was at Winco Foods in Lacey, Washington yesterday. All shelves were fully stocked. Meat product prices were very high. Went to a Walmart in Shelton, Washington later in the day, and meats were running very low. Rice and beans were also very low. Everything else seemed okay. Marie, here in the Netherlands, the stores are bare, especially rice, pasta, and beans. They now put on a limit on cooking oil, only 2 bottles of olive oil per customer. I use it a lot to cook with and always stock up in the summer for the winter. Kim, husband was sent home early again today due to no cooking oil. Second time in the last couple months. He is a cracker machine operator for Frito-Lay, Munchie crackers. Where are the crackers? Well, second time in the last couple months. They're just shutting down the production line because they can't get cooking oil. Metz Industries in the Philippines, frozen potato like French fries, etc., are scarce. Even McDonald's and Burger King have no fries. McDonald's gives a free fake meat burger in place of the fries. I did find some frozen fries at a local convenience store the other day. I bought the entire stock of 2 kilos. Price was up 50% over before. Supermarket trip yesterday, first in over a month. 3 tomato are nearly $2 USD. Compared to 2 months ago when I purchased a kilo for 75 cents USD. The frozen food section was noticeable in that the freezers were much less stocked. Cooking oil is up a lot. Meat has been stable for a while, but feed prices up for chicken feed. I raise broiler birds for personal use. Chicken gizzard, a form of cheap cut, is $2 a kilo now. It was $2 a kilo, now $4 a kilo. I was planning on buying in bulk that and canning, but not anymore. TVP, which is textured vegetable protein, right? It's went from 60 peso to 100 peso per kilo. Glass canning jars have not gone up in price since February. Rice prices stable. Soda has gone up a lot. Beer up too. Bread is becoming a luxury unless I bake it myself. $1.75 USD for a loaf of 12-slice sandwich bread. Pet foods are up a lot too and oftentimes unavailable or adulterated as the local brand now makes pets sick. AA14 CFB says, Southern China Canton area is embracing another rain bomb for today and tomorrow. Government is asking people to prep for at least 2 days and be aware of landslide and flooding. This could damage the rice and fruit production for this year. That's not good news. Liz S. Hi from England. I cannot find coffee beans. Hand tissues are sparse. Aldi, which was well stocked, had lots of gaps today. Cassandra, also in the UK. Today is the first time where things weren't just low, they were gone. No pasta or sauce or tinned tomatoes, etc., etc. Chicken also very low, but why I don't know because I have had all the bird flu restrictions lifted. We have had them lifted. Be interested to see what the larger supermarket looks like tomorrow. Sea bass. These shortages we're experiencing is affected by not only the supply chains, but people waking up. We're fighting against the sheep who just say, OMG, I better stock up. I can't find anything anymore. So when I see it, I buy more. This is all in quotes. He's quoting somebody. Now hear me out, please. This is the quote that came right out of the mouth from a friend who mocked me. I didn't believe a word I said. And of course, she never said I was right. She would never admit to being wrong. Never. In the almost 60 years I've known her, she's never said I was right about anything. So I think the more people wake up, the harder it's going to get. Folks, this is from me now. Times are coming when the prepared become the enemies of the unprepared. Think on that. Self-reliance tip of the day. Treasure Seekers in California says, so here is a tip. My reprint of the 1887 White House cookbook, page 387, has an alternative lid on jams and jellies. Specifically is listed under strawberry jam, but it should be able to be used with all jams and jellies. Cut a 1/2 inch larger circle out of a writing paper. Cover with a film of egg white. So the paper, and then you put egg white on it. On the inside of the paper, the egg white dries quickly. Tie it on the jar with twine. Also place a disc of circle paper soaked in brandy over the fruit to keep air out. Helps as well. On the side, note with this is a comment from the author stating he has opened lots of these types of seals covered in mold and the contents were perfectly preserved. I researched this and found the egg white does create a barrier protecting the contents. With my little knowledge of old paper, I believe today the paper would probably have been in the consistency of brown shipping paper, not packing paper as it might be too thin once coated in an egg white, then trying to place on the jar to tie. So, folks, you can look into the possibility of using paper, heavy-duty paper, with egg white in order to seal a jar. Hopefully that's a last-ditch effort if you run out of lids, but just keep that in the back of your mind. You might want to research into that. JDX also says, for those with lots of chickens, get some pickling lime and start water glassing your eggs. It's a very easy and makes them shelf-stable for months, if not years. Actually, it is years. So if you haven't looked into water glassing and you have a whole bunch of eggs coming from your chickens, pick up the pickling lime. I have my own bag. I haven't started yet because my new chicks haven't started laying yet. But keep that in mind, folks. All right. Also, I just want to point out that I just dropped another video over on my other channel, Bold Faith Bible. We have just started the section of the book of Revelation from the Bible about end times, what's going to happen. So if you want to jump in on that Bible study, this is a good point to do that. There will be a link down in the comments section down below. You also go over to my Bold Faith Bible channel through the description. All right, folks, I will see you guys later. Don't be afraid. Be prepared. I will see you later. Steve Poplar out.